Yeah, so there's huge variability, George. I know with grass there's always huge variability around the country, but there really is in terms of percentage grazed and regrowths back on paddocks. Like we have dry farms that have regrowths back at covers of like 1200 even
Yeah.
last week, and then we have dry farms that were grazed around the same time early on, and their covers are the recovery is lower. Maybe they're still only at 600 700. And then we have heavy farms that have a lot grazed and some with not much grazed. So there's a huge level of variation. That would be the starting point in this. But farmers, in fairness, have noticed, like, protein drops and stuff in the milk over the last couple of weeks with silage going into the diet. So they're really pushing to, on-off grazing to try and get them out and keep the protein up. Because in a lot of cases silage is tight, so therefore maybe even the quality of the silage being fed is probably questionable in some cases as well. Average farm cover stable enough where it has been for the last few weeks. The demand there at 27 is actually looking like it's going to be below growth in a lot of cases next week. So that'd be a good case for pulling back some silage. We can see here this is the average of what's being fed in pasture base. So maybe reducing that to something like 2 kilos of silage and 12 kilos of grass. That's what we're looking at. So we could probably increase grass intakes in a lot of cases. So there is 1 to 2 inches of rain predicted over the next week in places. Soil temperatures are good, so it's still going to remain challenging for grazing. So we start with just maybe on the dry farms. We need to hold average farm cover around 600 kilos of dry matter per hectare. That means we keep grazing covers over 1,000 basically. And we need to check regrowths. That the top 3 paddocks are somewhere between 11 to 1200 for starting the second rotation. And we can transition into the second rotation whilst finishing off the first. So if you have a paddock at 13 or 1400 today, there's no harm in grazing that and going back into an older paddock that hasn't been grazed yet in the evening time or whatever. So we can do that and basically transition into that. So are you on target? Do you need to speed up? Do you need to stretch? Those decisions need to be made. On heavy farms then we're seeing maybe only 50% grazed. Lots of heavy cover still left to graze, and the stuff that was grazed early during February time is now catching up with that. So I would be thinking, like, over the next couple of weeks that farmers might have to dip into that second rotation on heavy farms and graze the covers that were grazed that well earlier on in the year, keep them grazed well and keep on top of those whilst they're finishing the first round. And again, heavy farms are going to have to make the most of on-off grazing again over the next week to keep grass in the diet. Fertilizer wise, George, we're looking at probably around 60 units out by next week on dry farm or dry paddocks maybe, including slurry and fertilizer. So 60 units total, or 75 kilos a hectare total. On heavier farms you're looking at maybe 45 units per acre in total out, or about 52 or 55 kilos per hectare.